Happy day, everybody. Today I'm making yakisoba, which literally translates into grilled noodles. Now, this doesn't go out on the grill. It's cooked in a pan, a heavy body pan. If you have a cast iron, that's great. Usually in Japan, when they make this, they do it on a steel pan, which I don't have one, so this works just fine. It's a pretty simple dish to put together. The hardest part, and I wouldn't even say it's hard, but is to getting the ingredients together to make the sauce. It's basically a Japanese barbecue sauce, or you can get this stuff. It's made by a company called Banchan's. It's their Japanese barbecue sauce, which is pretty much the same thing that we have going on here. This is a lot easier to do, but if you want to make it yourself and you have the ingredients, give it a shot. I first had this back in the early 90s. I had an opportunity to go to Japan. And while I was there, I just told myself I'm going to eat everything that I can, no matter what it is, just to have the experience. And I tried some pretty scary stuff. But one of the things that I found all over Japan was yakisoba. It's kind of their version of street food there, or one of them. Any festival that you go to, sporting events, you'll always see yakisoba there, and they make it in these huge pans, and they just portion it out for you. And it's delicious. It's always a little bit different. Traditionally, it's made with pork. I have seen it with beef, chicken, and seafood before, so you can really use whatever you want. I have some leftover bacon from this morning, which I'm using. Normally, you would start with raw because you want to render out some of the fat. Because I don't have that, I put about a tablespoon or a teaspoon or so of oil in my pan to get that going. What we have here, the main ingredients, the main things that I've seen kind of that everybody has is cabbage, chopped up, carrots, and onions. A lot of times you'll see bean sprouts, which would have been great, but the ones at our grocery store today weren't very nice, so I didn't just not putting them in. I have some green scallions here that I'm going to put in there. For the sauce, I have Worcestershire sauce, oyster sauce, vegetable oil, ketchup, and all those are a tablespoon, a half a tablespoon of honey, and about a quarter of a teaspoon of white pepper. And to get that going, so we can get those happy, we're just going to mix these up in a bowl. It's pretty easy to do yourself. You will find on the internet there are a lot of different recipes for this. A whole lot of them. And there seems to be two camps, one with oyster sauce and one without. I kind of like this one. Version's good for me. I had this a few times and it always works out. Nice sweetness from the honey. The pepper. You just want to stir this up to combine it. It's a pretty easy sauce. You'll see this doesn't make a whole lot, but we're also not making a whole lot. You can scale this up as much as you want. It'll be just fine. Okay, starting the pan, you want it on a high heat. Because you really, like normally you'd want to render out the fat from the bacon. You can use pork, mostly use pork belly for this. Bacon, pancetta, you can use pork loin too if you want to. Like I say, they make it all different ways. But let me go ahead and get this in the pan. The noodles are interesting. You can use any type of noodles that you have in the, or they call them yellow noodles because they're yellow, they're egg noodles. They're already cooked. You don't have to cook them. We're gonna cook them in the pan. I've seen recipes where people take these and they heat them up in a microwave. They boil them first, which you can do if you boil them. If you really want to go that route, you definitely want to rinse them off in cold water really well because you don't want these to stick like, well, certain dishes. You definitely want your pasta to be a little starchy. But here we don't. We want them to be kind of separated. To say these are already cooked, so they don't need to be cooked again. But you can, if that's the path you want to take for this. But we want to get our pan heated up, which this is an induction burner. This heats up pretty fast. We're just going to warm up this bacon because, like I said, it's already cooked. Normally you'd want to cook this until you've rendered out a lot of the fat because that's going to give you some flavor in the dish. And then we're going to add our vegetables first. Now, we don't want to cook the vegetables completely this first time. We just want to get them about halfway there. We're going to finish them with the noodles. You want a little crunch in there with them. Kind of cheated on the cabbage. I bought these things called shreds at the grocery store. It's already chopped up for you. Obviously, you can do this yourself. You have a head of cabbage sitting around. Depends on what you want. But again, you just want to cook these until the onions start to get translucent, just a few minutes. You know, like I said, our pan's pretty hot. It's okay if you get a little bit of a char on the vegetables. That's really good. It tastes amazing, but this only takes a few minutes. We'll be back in a couple seconds. Then we'll move on to phase 2. Okay, so I've had these in here for a few minutes. We're going to add some of our noodles. Get those going. All right. We just want to mix this up well. We have this mixed up. We're going to add our sauce to this. And you just kind of want to pour it evenly, not evenly, but get it all around the pan. The sauce will caramelize really fast. Oh man, it already smells good. You want to keep stirring everything around. You really don't want things to be sticking too badly on the bottom. But getting a little bit of that char is a good thing. You really want everything coated really well here with your sauce. That's why it's important to stir your sauce up pretty well in the beginning. And go from there. We give this just a second in here, and then we're going to plate it up. All right, everything's cooked through very well now. The sauce really smells good. On the plate. Gonna hit it with a few green onions just to add a little bit of green to the dish. It's nice. Plus it gives a good flavor. I like green onions. If you don't add them. But here you have it. This is how fast yakisoba can be at home. It's a fun dish, something that you don't normally see at the house. Just mixes it up than your normal weekday routine. Let's give this a try. This is delicious. It's amazing how fast this comes together and how flavorful the sauce is. I thought it was very interesting that you don't really, well, the noodles come cooked, but you don't have to cook them again. They get really soft inside of the dish pretty fast with all the liquid coming out from the vegetables, I guess. Definitely give this one a try and let us know what you think. You all have fun out there and be kind to each other, and we'll see you next time.